In the name of Allah, in last session we spoke about math and the most used functions from Poito, round, string and others. So after that, now we want to learn the constants. Anyone what's constant? Yeah, a variable that's the value is not changeable. The value is not changeable. So today we learn constants in PHP. You learned constants in Java, C++, and PLSQL. I think we taught on constants on that also. So constants are like variables, except that once they are defined, they cannot be changed or undefined. Once they are defined, then you cannot change it or undefine it. So constants are like variables, but the values are not changeable. In PHP, we also have constants. A constant is an identifier, a name or a variable for a simple value. The value cannot be changed during the script. Once defined, never can be changed. During the script note, we can change the value on the same line where we have defined it. We can change it multiple times, but not dynamically. Statically, we can change, but dynamically, we cannot change as we can do on variables. We can assign one variable 1 year, and every value that we use it, we can use different values on that. But in constants, you can change on the same place only. You can change the value statically, but not dynamically. A valid constant name starts with a letter or underscore, no dollar sign before the constant name. In variables, we have dollar sign, but in constants, we don't have dollar sign. We started with underscore or the letter, but generally constants are defined using the uppercase letters for better understanding without dollar sign. So, unlike variables, constants are automatically global across the entire script. In variables, we had three scopes. It was the global, the local, and the static. But in constants, they are automatically global. They are automatically global. Once defined, you can use it in everywhere of your code. Across all your script, you can use it. So how we can create a PHP constant? To create a constant, use the define function. You can use the define function. Define function. So the syntax is define name value case insensitive. Case insensitive. What are the parameters? The name specifies the name of the constant. The name that you want the constant should hold. The name that a constant must have. The same way as the name of variable, but it should not start with a dollar sign. Another is the value. Specify the value of the constant. It must have a value. You cannot just initialize it. You must put a value on that. And constant. In variables, we were free to put a value or not, to assign a value or not. But in constant, you must assign a value. You must assign a value. And the other is case insensitive. It specifies whether the constant name should be case insensitive. Default is false. Note, defining case insensitive constant was deprecated in PHP 7.3. PHP 8 accepts only false. The value true will produce a warning. So what it means, case insensitive was before PHP 8, but in PHP 8, case insensitive is lost. So what it means that if you define a constant, you could use the case sensitive also, but define the case sensitive. But in PHP 8, we don't have it. So constants are case sensitive. If you define it case insensitive in earlier in PHP 7.3 or PHP 7 or PHP 6 or PHP 5, you were able to do it on case sensitive or case insensitive. You were free to choose. But in PHP 8, you can't define as case insensitive. So constants are case sensitives. So here's an example. Create a constant with case sensitive name. So what? Define greeting. Welcome to w3schools.com. echo greetings. So what it means that we have defined the constant that's greeting. That's you can use it only in uppercase letters. If you need, you can define it in lowercase or sentence case or initial caps. But if you define it uppercase, you must use it in uppercase. If you define it in lowercase, you must use it in lowercase. We can use the define keyword and then our first parameter is our constant name, second parameter is our value. The third parameter is not required anymore. In default is false. So we are not allowed to have case insensitive. So we are not allowed to use case insensitive. It must be case sensitive. So let's choose it. Our zomp. Yusuf, last session you asked about zomp. So I thought about zomp. What's zomp? Yeah, it's a package. Yeah. What type of package is this? No books from your mind. Why forgot? So you can use define and then put the values. If you see in definition, it says the first parameter needs a string type. That's constant name. The next part is mixed value, and the third parameter is bool. Case sensitive, insensitive, false or true. False or true. If you put false, it means you're not allowed. Default is false. If you put true, it means you can. But default is false. So let's define it. You need to put a string like greeting. Greeting. The second one is our value. Again, yeah, it's case sensitive. First we choose the case sensitive, then we went to case insensitive. Welcome it. So we need welcome to Nemo. Now you can do echo it. Echo greeting. Echo greetings. So let's test it. Localhost test form. So it says now welcome to Nemo. It's constant value. So it's also if I choose the lowercase in here, it will generate error for me. Why error? Because default is false. Now it says uncaught error undefined constant greeting. So system doesn't know the greetings. Why? Because we didn't mention it that the lowercase or uppercase is not important. So how we can resolve this? Just in third parameter put a true in the last. So it says that it's deprecated. It says defining case insensitive constants is deprecated since PHP 7.3. What it means deprecated, it's not allowed anymore. It's not allowed anymore. So let's see if it works or not. Now it says argument number 3, case insensitive is ignored since declaration of case insensitive constants no longer supported. Our version is PHP 8.2, but in PHP 7.3, it's deprecated. It won't know anymore. If you are using PHP 7, you can use this. But if you are not, then you should avoid using this one. You should avoid using the third parameter. See, it accepts, but it's draw a line on it and says that deprecated. So this comes from one of my extensions that I have installed on Visual Studio Code. You can also install. You can install the Visual Studio Code. Have I sit on yesterday session and see this ones. So we should avoid this one. You should avoid this one and use the uppercase. You should use the uppercase. Another way is the phpconst keyword. If you are not using the define, you can use the const keyword instead. As you use the data type keywords like integer, numbers, and Java, and also we use the constant keyword in PLSQL. And PHP we have const keyword. If you put a const keyword before a variable, that will be a constant. If you put a const keyword before a variable name, so you can use also create constant using the const keywords. How you can do this? This way. So I don't want to use this one. Let's comment this. And instead, I want to do this one, const greeting. And then our value. Our value is welcome Tonimo. Let me do this lowercase. Now, this is the same as we do in using define. You're free to choose which one to use. But const keyword is I think better than define function. So let's see the pros and cons between them. Const keyword vs define keyword. Const are always case sensitive. Const are always case sensitive. But define has a case insensitive option, but not in newer versions, but in lower versions. PHP 5, PHP 6, PHP 4, PHP 7, up to PHP 7.3. We have the case sensitive option, but after that, we don't have that. Const cannot be created inside another block scope, like inside a function or inside an if statement. So you can't define a constant inside a block scope. A block scope means a local scope. A local scope, you cannot define a constant using the const keyword. And also inside the if statements. You can't define it not using. You can't define. Define is another word and using is another thing. So you can't define between the functions or if statements or any block statement. Define can be created inside another block scope. But define can be created in local scopes also. So you can also create array as constant. Array as constant. YNF. So we have some listings, no worries. Constants arrays. PHP constant arrays. From PHP 7, you can create an array constant using define function. You can do not only one variable. You can do create arrays using define function. You can use it. How you can use? The same way. Just put the key and the values. The key is the course and the values. How many values you want to insert as an array, not as a variable. You can do it as a array. Constants are global. As we said, constants are automatically global. Constants are automatically global. You can use it everywhere you want. You can use it everywhere in your code, not only in one place. You can use it everywhere. But you should define them outside of your functions, classes, and others in the top level of your script page. So this was the total about constants. I think you learned this too many times in C++, Java, also in PLSQL. We talked about constants in PLSQL also.